Iraq is facing an unprecedented influx of refugees. Almost 30,000 people have crossed its border with Syria since Thursday. Now, the lion's share of those displaced are Kurds who have found themselves caught in the middle of the war. And as RT's Paula Sleer reports, this is yet another sign that the conflict can't be contained within Syria.
The exodus shows no signs of slowing down, and it's straining both their resources as well as those of Iraqi relief agencies. Thousands of Syrian Kurds are pouring into Iraq's autonomous Kurdish region. Now, when we talk about the Kurds, we're talking about the largest minority group in Syria. They make up roughly about 10% of the country's 23 million. They have no state of their own, which is why they reside in parts of Syria, Turkey, and Iraq. The main concern that is being expressed by relief agencies is that so many of them are now stuck out in the open at the border or at emergency reception areas with little to no access to basic services, and nearly half of them are children. The problem only exacerbates an already problematic refugee response in Iraq that is struggling from being thinly stretched. These Kurds are not fleeing clashes between government forces and rebels, but they're running away from the spin-off of this conflict. They're escaping the raging battle between Kurds and Islamist militia for control of large areas of northern Syria where these Kurds live. In fact, it's home to most of the Syrian Kurdish minority. The Syrian government pulled back from this vast region more than a year ago. They gave the Kurds more autonomy, but they left the area extremely vulnerable, as this Kurdish journalist explains.
Regions where the militia of the Islamic State of Iraq and their allies reside have very bad security, because Islamists began a campaign against the Kurds who were refusing to join their ranks. They're ethnically cleansing Kurds. The town of Tel Abyad has seen ethnic cleansing operations begin on the 20th of July, when militants launched attacks against Kurdish villages, saying members of the Kurdistan Workers' Party were hiding there.
Al-Qaeda-linked groups are reportedly aiming to set up an Islamist area or an Islamist region in this particular area. This anti-Kurdish push is being backed by the Syrian rebels, and they accuse the Kurdish fighters of siding with the regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. But that is an allegation that the Kurds deny. They say that they are neutral in this whole conflict. But the problem is that the confrontation has broken now into open warfare. We've been hearing reports of massacres, beheadings, kidnappings, and other atrocities that are being perpetrated against the Kurds. Again, I want to make the point that the priority of rebels and mercenaries, increasingly what we're seeing, is shifting from purely wanting to fight against the regime and to rather attacking minorities, establishing essentially a jihadist state. This is a conflict that goes well beyond borders.
We spoke to Hassan Mohammed Ali, the Kurdistan Democratic Party representative in Europe. He believes that the assault on the Kurdish territories is aimed at undermining a political solution to Syria's bloody conflict.
Some international powers, especially Turkey, are taking a stand against the Kurds and support attacks from Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Nusra and the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. It also launched artillery attacks against the Kurds to give these groups the upper hand. And this comes at a time when we should be moving towards peace negotiations, where a solution to the Syrian crisis should be discussed, as well as the Kurdish issue. Rebels have links to foreign states who have their own agendas in Syria. They want chaos in the area to show that Syria is far from stability.